The poem A Woman to Her Lover. First thing we must notice about this poem is who it's addressed to, which is the lover. This is quite unusual because this suggests that the person is neither engaged to the woman nor her husband, but somebody who she might take as a lover or who is actually her lover, which suggests potential sexual passion. The poem is split into 4 verses. The first 3 are very different from the last. As you can see, we're starting off with a direct question to the lover. Do you come to bend me, to shape me to who you want to be? It's suggesting that she's going to have to change who she is to make sure that he is happy. And then we've got quite an unusual war metaphor here going on. She's suggesting that he, the lover, will have to conquer her. And as any conqueror in history has done, he turns the people who has been conquered into the vanquished, the losers, the people who have no power. And that's suggesting that he will turn her into somebody with no power. To emphasize this, she suggests that this might make a bond slave of her. So we can just simply think of that as a slave as somebody who's got no power, no chance to respond, no free will, but is completely in control of the man. She then goes on to say whether the fact that she is a bond slave, she will have to bear his children. Now, obviously that means to have his children, but she could have used the word have or carried. But to bear, it sounds like a massive weight she must be lumbered with to carry without request of any pleasantries or freedom. She also says about wearing out my life. Now, if you imagine, some people would see motherhood as something that they choose to do and possibly something they enjoy. However, it looks like in this poem that the poet is suggesting that she will not have any choice in the matter and that her life will literally be worn out like a pair of shoes which are constantly used. She goes on to say about doing this in drudgery and silence. Now, silence is quite simple to think about. It suggests that she won't have a chance to say to him, hey, stop, leave me alone, I want something different. The drudgery word we can almost see as something that is dull, boring, has a certain aspect of grimness. We can also hear this in the way it sounds. This sound, the dj and the dr, just sounds dull and unpleasant. Now, the next line, she makes quite a strong statement. It's almost as if there are no ifs and no buts. And the fact that she says, no servant will I be. If you think, it could be, I will be no servant. But it seems much stronger having this refusal at the beginning, no servant will I be, if that be what you ask. And she finishes this first verse with something which seems very, very strong. O lover, I refuse you. And purely the fact that she's going to say no to him if this is what he wants is quite a strong statement by her. We could also think of it with the idea of the you, sorry, not the you, the exclamation mark, showing that she's kind of surprised that he might want this. Now, if you look at this verse, a separate verse, she now moves on, and she basically says what she's not going to be and what he obviously thinks she will be. So, or if you think to wed with one from heaven sent. Now, the allusion there is quite obvious. The fact that anybody who's sent from heaven is holy, is possibly an angel, who whose every deed, which basically means every action and word, everything she says, and wish is golden. It would seem fairly obvious that we've got an extra and in there. She doesn't say whose every deed, comma, word and wish is golden. It's every deed and word and wish. And splitting them up seems to make them stand out a little bit more. So she's suggesting that what she is going to do, what she says, what she thinks, isn't going to be pure and golden in his eyes, that she will probably have her own ideas, which I'm guessing the poet is suggesting that the man or the lover will not have. She also suggests that she's not going to be a wingless angel. Now, obviously, a wingless angel is somebody who is pure, holy, possibly beautiful, angelic, but the idea that she's wingless suggests that she's got no freedom of her own. She is basically refusing to be a stationary object for his whims. Who can do no wrong, go. Now, that's a command or an imperative, and it's almost suggesting that I'm not going to do these things. You need to leave me, you need to clear off. And she continues this by saying, I am no doll to dress. Now, doll to dress almost makes it seem like something that's passive, somebody who's not going to do something. A doll is just something to look at, to play with. So she's refusing to be this inanimate object, this possession of his. So she's not going to sit there and look pretty. She also says that she's not going to sit for feeble worship. Now, when I think of that line, I think of somebody praying, somebody who is going to kneel at somebody's feet and, as it says, worship them. Now, she's obviously suggesting that he's not worth worshipping. He's not a godlike figure. And the idea about feeble is kind of weak worship. The fact that she's not going to be weak in terms of how she sees him. If that be what you ask, fool. So there, subordinated between this section and this section, is quite an insult. Fool, calling her lover an idiot, somebody who's stupid, because he obviously doesn't realise what she is interested in. I refuse you. So we've got a repetition of I refuse you, which suggests that she is very, very determined not to follow what he wants to do. Now, the third verse is quite strange. It starts off very sensuously, very it feels potentially about passion. So she says, or if you think in me to find a creature who will have no greater joy than to gratify, than to please or satisfy your clamorous desire, your desire that builds and builds. If you think about these words here, they are all very soft words. They seem to fall together pleasantly. Clamorous, so we've got the circular sound, we've got the amorous, and in fact you've got the word amorous in there, and desire. So she's basically saying, you have no greater joy than to gratify your clamorous desire. I'm not going to just satisfy your passion, your sexual desire. And she backs this up by saying, my skin soft only for your fond caresses. You can see the word caresses as strokes, gentle strokes, one that you might use on your lover. And this bit, it seems to get a little bit more sexual at this stage. My body supple, so athletic, can bend into all sorts of shapes, only for your sense delight. Now, sense delight seems like a bit of an odd way round of saying it, but it's talking about delighting his senses. She's not going to use her body to delight his senses. So we've got lots and lots of soft sounding words and phrases here. However, we then come on to this line. Oh shame, listen to how sharp that A is, and pity, the T sound is quite unpleasant, and abasement, being lowered, abasement. So even those words sound quite unpleasant. This is almost her reaction to this idea that she will be his slave, his lover at his will. Not for you, so not for the lover, the hand of any wakened woman of our time. That's almost suggesting that she is aware of her position in society, that she has power in society, a wakened woman of our time. Not an old-fashioned woman, but somebody who knows what's going on. Okay, the fourth stanza, the fourth verse, changes completely. This is when it suggests that this is her offer. If he wants to become her lover, he must do these kind of things. So, it starts off quite fondly. But lover, if you ask of me, that I shall be your comrade, friend, and mate, and to live and work, and to love and die with you. So this sounds much more equal already, that he's not going to see her as his toy, but as a friend, somebody who he spent his life with on an equal footing, that they will live and work equally, that she is offering to love and die with him. So sounds like this is the offer. If he agrees to this, this is what she's going to be doing. That so together we may know that purity and height of passion. So purity, and the height of passion, and of joy and sorrow. Then her husband, oh, look at this. She's offering to become her wife, his wife. I am yours forever. Now, forever is quite a long time. And this is what she's not offered before. If they are equal, she will be his forever. And now a co-equal love. Almost a non-poetic word. It sounds a bit clumsy. It sounds a bit businesslike. But this is what will happen to their love. And our co-equal love will make the stars laugh with joy. Now, we are surrounded by stars. They're supposed to be beautiful, and they are going to be laughing with happiness because the equality of the love they have for each other. And to its circling fugue pass, hand holding hand, until we reach the very heart of God. It almost sounds like there's going to be music in the heavens because their love is so pure and passionate, but pure and equal. Hand holding hand, not one hand holding the other, not my hand holding yours or your hand holding mine, but hand holding hand, which is equal in itself, until we reach the very heart of God. Now, in some people's mind, the very heart of God will be an extremely heavenly place, a very pure place, a place that can't be better. So overall, she's saying she is not going to be an object of his affection. She's going to have free will. She's going to decide things. She's going to work with him. She's going to be seen as an equal, a co-equal. And if that happens, she is very happy to be with him. And she is suggesting that heavens above will be joyous.